Welcome to another exciting episode of GeekGreens. Today, I'm going to spend some time telling you about a really cool, and forgive all the sound of the traffic here, I'm on a corner lot here that has a kind of busy road behind me, so that's one of the downsides to my property, but we have a beautiful garden. So today's episode, I am going to show you a method of gardening. Oh, it's actually a method of composting that my friend Ray, you can find him on Facebook. I'll show you, just maybe I'll point right here. We'll put a little link maybe right here. You can follow him on Facebook there, or feel free to go subscribe to his channel, like right here. I'll put a little link right here. Ray, he's got this really great method I really like, and I've been trying it and using it to make compost. And it's really, really easy. I've got my compost here, and I'm actually really excited because right now it's already starting to get warm and hot. It should get to above 100 degrees. If I put my hand right here, I can actually feel it's right here, it's warm. Put my hand in here, and the deeper I go, the hotter it gets. Ow, it's a little warm in there. But there's a chemical process going on in there with all the bacteria happening in here that is breaking down this organic matter and making really nice compost I can then use in my garden for the spring. So in the fall, I've got leaves all around me. In fact, I've still got trees that haven't shed their leaves yet. I can take all these leaves and create a nice compost pile. And I've actually added to this compost pile, I've got from my fish pond, I've got organic matter from there, which is going to add to the nutrients. I've got leaves, I've got pumpkins and other stuff, just you name anything organic that's not an animal, basically. You can put in here, you can put eggshells. And all that's mixing together with the nitrogen from the greens of my grass cuttings and the leaves, and it all mixes together. So I take these leaves and I make compost out of them, and it's actually a pretty simple method. All I do is I take all the leaves that grow from my trees that fall on the ground. I use a leaf blower to kind of blow them all together, a little close together, and you actually don't even have to use a leaf blower if you have a good lawnmower that'll just suck them up. I suck them up in the lawnmower, that chops them up a little more and speeds up the process. I put them all in a pile as tall as I can get the pile, and within, I think we're at 3 days now, it's doing its thing, and it's already nice and warm in there. Actually, sometimes I just like to come and stick my hand in here just to feel that process. I wash my hands afterwards. And there's the elementary school behind us. Someone going to the office. But anyway, this is my compost pile. I'm now going to show you just some of the process I do of gathering these leaves and creating this pile. So let's go on to the garden. We'll start gathering these leaves. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to create our fall compost piles, we need to get all the leaves done. You can see on the ground here a whole bunch of leaves all over the place from these big willow trees above me. But I like to use a leaf blower or a blower like this to do it. You can actually use just a normal leaf rake or whatever. This makes it a lot easier, and then after this we're going to mow it all up with the mower and put it in the compost pile. So let's get going here. Okay, so one thing you'll notice as I'm doing this is one thing you'll notice from some of the other pictures you've seen is I'm leaving the leaves inside parts of the garden that don't have grass on them. I'm just taking leaves off the grass. Grass isn't my favorite thing in the world, but grass adds a level of beauty to the garden. But the reason for that is I like to leave the leaves in the rest so it actually naturally creates compost in the rest of the garden. I will actually leave some leaves in the grass in the end, and those will also add some compost and some organic nutrients to the grass as well, providing an organic source for the grass.
but I'm only removing it from the grass, and I'm actually leaving leaves on the normal ground where my trees and my garden and the rest of my plants go. In fact, I'll probably put some leaves inside my raised beds as well to do that. So, so that's what's going on with that. All right, so I've blown as much of this as I can, and I've created a nice little kind of column of debris that I'm now going to mow up in the lawnmower. You don't have to get everything, and I actually got a little lazy and decided at the end I'm actually just going to go around and mow up whatever the major stuff is afterwards. I'm going to leave some of it in the grass. Like I said, it's good to have the organic matter in the grass. So, so now all we have to do is mow it up. I've got inside the lawnmower here, I've got a bag on the lawnmower that over here that if it collects the debris and chops it up all nice, so that we don't have big chunks in the compost pile. You want it to be chopped up as much as you can because the compost will break down faster that way, and we want a nice compost pile for the spring that we can start using in our garden. I've actually got a couple brand new raised beds I need to use that for, so I want to get as much as I can here. So I'm using up the last of these willow trees behind me to get it. So let's go ahead and with that said, let's get the lawnmower going and let's put all this together. Okay, Glass? Listen to, whoops. One second. Okay, Glass? Listen to White and Nerdy.
Okay, so one thing you'll notice while I'm mowing the lawn here is I'm taking it nice and slow. I want to make sure I get as much as I can. And the lawnmower actually acts kind of like a vacuum. So anything that's left over, even if it's not chopping up, it'll kind of suck it in. So take it nice and slow and get as much as you can.
Alright, so here's our compost pile, which I just showed you. You can see it's actually already breaking down from the last time we did this. And you actually have to do this on a regular basis, what I'm about to do, just to get it all ready. And the way that you prepare your compost pile is we want to make it kind of flat so I can start putting other stuff in it. And all I do is just start to take this and just kind of pull it out here. You can see that nice kind of black material in there. It's steaming in there as I pull. You can tell it's actually working. And if I feel in here, it's a little bit warm. That's working. So you just want to do this on a regular basis. Just kind of flatten it out as much as you can. And this kind of just churns it and mixes all that beneficial bacteria that does the work and puts it all together. And Crookshanks back there is looking for mice as we speak. Seriously, if you get a cat, if you have a mouse problem or a bird problem, get a cat. Crookshanks kind of keeps the whole ecosystem in check. Here. You see, I'm just kind of spreading this out kind of as flat as I can. Doesn't have to be completely flat. Nice and broken up there. That's what we want. You can see I got a few chunks here. These will eventually break down. this is all just decaying plant matter. It actually doesn't smell very much. Your compost pile, if it's working, will not smell. And these big sticks right here, you catch these, throw them out. No need to keep them in there. Those won't break down very easily. Okay, so I've flattened it out as much as I can. I mean, it's not perfect, but just needs to be spread out is basically what we're doing. So now I just take my my compost and I just spread it around kind of on top of this, the rest of the leaves there, and that'll all mix in with this, and over the winter hopefully it'll all break down and provide a nice compost pile for me. So let's go ahead and get the compost and we'll start spreading it on. Oh, look at these nice leaves right here. That's good stuff. Okay. Got some nice new material to feed the whole pile here. Alright, so what we've done here is we basically refueled our whole... oh, cat's going for a bird there. Sorry. What we've done here is we've refueled our entire compost pile here. We had our compost that was already warm and hot, and now we've added some more leaves to it. This gives it more fuel to be able to continue that breakdown process, and it'll take the combination of that beneficial bacteria in the compost with the new fuel for that bacteria that will keep that whole process going. And you want to repeat this anywhere from every few days to once a week. There are a couple of major ingredients you need for your compost pile. 1 is greens, 2 is carbon, and 3 is water. So the greens would be things like the grass that you mow. And come next year, we'll actually mow all this grass and empty it. And I actually do a combination on the lawn of 1 week mowing and composting, the other week leaving the grass in the lawn to compost inside the lawn. And leaves are also a nitrogen source. When I say greens, I mean you need nitrogen in there to do it. And then the carbon source will be sticks and some would say dry leaves can also apply. So I mean we got a combination of both living and dry leaves in here. Kind of dry stuff is your carbon basically, and you mix all that together, and then you add water. And you want to soak it down. You don't want it to be soggy wet, but you want it to be nice and moist all throughout. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to moisten all this down, and then we're going to stack it on top of each other as high as you can get it, and gradually moisten it as we go the entire way. And this again is all a method that my friend Ray does over on the I always get the name wrong. It's the practice channel. I'll list it. I'll list it somewhere here that so you can find it. But anyway, we're gonna wet it down. We're going to then just add to the pile and gradually just wet it down as we go and stack it as high as we can get. You kind of just want to stack it on top as high as you can go, and so that all that stuff is happening in the pile. So let's go. Belly. Alright, so we are done here. You can see this is almost, I mean, it's getting near as tall as me here. I think when it gets about this high, I'd probably stop feeding it and then just spend time rotating it on about a weekly and maybe a little more than that basis. Continually watering it and making sure you got lots of water on it. But this is what it looks like. Make sure it's nice and moist, and I could probably moisten this just a little bit more, I think. But this is the basic of it, the basic principle. So now all you need to do is, if it's not going to rain, you could just leave it out like this and then just rotate it on a regular basis. I'm hitting the beginning of winter here where it's going to start snowing, and it's already starting to rain, and even a little snow already. And you don't really want the rain and the snow to get in here, because when it does, it throws all those nutrients down to the bottom and into the ground, which you want those nutrients to stay in the pile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it, and I've got a nice tarp right here that going to take and just cover it, so that basically you just don't want the rain or snow or whatever to pull all the nutrients into the ground. You want to kind of block that. So I'm just going to cover this to the best of my ability, so as much as covered as possible. I could probably use a little bigger tarp, but this will do the job. And I've got some bricks here. Put one on top here. I found that actually will probably blow off, but take a few others here. I'm gonna put one on the ground over here, and probably one on the opposite side over here. And hopefully that'll stay in the wind. I mean, this whole thing will act like a sail and pull all this stuff off. So I might add another brick or two. But that's basically it. In about, give it about 3 days. You get in there, it'll start warming up, and you'll start to feel it warm up, and that's when it's doing its job. As I showed at the beginning, you want it to all cook in there. They call it cooking, so that all that plant matter decays and turns into nice, rich compost, which we'll use in the spring. And this ought to fill a couple raised beds, which is good. And I'll do this every year. And if I've got a full raised bed, I'll either create a new one, or I'll cover previous raised beds, so that, because your raised beds go down in level at the beginning of the year. But this should be a good amount. I've actually got another compost bin that you kind of rotate. It's actually over here that Tom's showing you right there. But this you actually rotate, and I just fill it in. That's all full and doing its work, and that'll happen through the winter too. So I got a good set here. I've got my worms to provide vermicompost. I'll mix that in with everything. So I have nice, rich, nutrient soil. So anyway, if you want to learn more, again, check out my friend Ray's channel, at his practice channel. He's where I got a lot of my stuff is inspired by him, and then the rest is all Google. I mean, you can go and find this on your own. You don't have to rely on me, but if you do, I'll take you along my own learning journey. Anyway, please subscribe and spend some time just going through my videos. This is Jesse Stay with GeekGreens. Alright, thanks for listening to another episode of GeekGreens. Please follow me on Twitter, on Google+, on Facebook. All the links are all on the channel here. Please join the conversation and hashtag GeekGreens. I've also got a Geek Gardening channel. It was actually a community on Google+ that you can join. Comment below if you like this episode, and please subscribe. I've got the little subscribe link right down below. Just click that little subscribe link and join, and then if you click the little gear icon next to your subscribe, it'll let you have an email sent to you on each episode you receive, so you're watching every single channel that comes through. But please keep joining, share with your friends, and get out there. I've got a couple really cool episodes that you might enjoy. I've got over here at the top, I actually have worms that I've grown, and they're actually in my closet right now. They go outside in the summer. And I've got an episode all about my worms and how those provide a really beneficial nutrient that I include in my garden, and how you can basically take your garden scraps and your kitchen scraps and not throw them away, but feed them to the worms and have something good for your garden. You have a sustainable garden that way. I have parasitic wasps over here, and you may want to wonder why I am putting parasitic wasps in my garden. It's not what you think, so go watch that. And down here, I'm in Zone 6 here in Utah, and I am growing pomegranates, I'm growing figs, I'm working on bananas as well. And if you go down there, I'll show you some of those and some of my tips for planting those and growing those, and what I use. So anyway, please check out my channel, subscribe, like, and thanks for watching.